For centuries, Earth had been a mystery to the galaxy, a small blue planet in a remote star system, surrounded by larger, more powerful civilizations. No one ever saw Earth as a serious threat. The advanced species of the galaxy had long since moved beyond the need for war and conquest, leaving lesser planets to evolve on their own. Earth, with its primitive technology and constant internal conflicts, was no exception. Most believed it would take hundreds, if not thousands of years before humans could even dream of exploring the stars. But something had changed. The Intergalactic Council, a group formed by the most powerful races in the galaxy, had kept a watchful eye on Earth for years. They monitored the development of the planet, tracking its slow but steady progress. The Council's analysts and diplomats saw humanity as a curiosity at best, a species that was still learning to control its environment, its technology, and its own violent nature. Earth was young, naive, and far behind the rest of the galaxy. Or so they thought. The truth was much different. Hidden deep within Earth's vast cities and remote research stations, a secret project had been taking shape. For decades, human scientists and military leaders worked together, pushing the boundaries of known technology. They built something that no one, not even the most advanced galactic minds, had expected. A ship capable of interstellar travel, powered by energy sources never before seen. The project, known only to a select few, was known as Project Starborn. Its purpose was clear: to develop a spacecraft that could not only travel to distant stars, but also challenge the might of any power that sought to harm Earth. The decision to create the Starship was born from necessity. Earth had been under the constant threat of alien invasions, and although Earth's military had grown stronger over the years, it was clear that the planet needed something more. It wasn't enough to just defend. Earth had to make a statement. The people of Earth had realized that their survival depended not on waiting for the galaxy to accept them, but on showing their strength to the universe. For years, the Starship was a well-guarded secret. Only a few governments knew of its existence, and even fewer were aware of the true purpose of Project Starborn. As Earth scientists perfected the ship's design, the galaxy's perception of Earth remained unchanged. The Intergalactic Council continued its quiet surveillance, paying little attention to Earth's progress. The galaxy, after all, was a vast and ancient place. With civilizations older than Earth's sun, it was easy for the Council to dismiss Earth as just another young planet, struggling with its growing pains. They had seen it all before. The same stories repeated themselves: young species developing, fighting among themselves, and eventually becoming nothing more than a footnote in the grand history of the galaxy. But humanity had other plans. On Earth, the Starship was finally ready. It was a massive vessel, a fusion of cutting-edge technology and raw human ingenuity. The ship, called the Sovereign, was designed to harness the power of stars, using energy sources far more advanced than anything known to the galaxy. The ship's power came from a newly discovered element, something that had been theorized but never realized by any other species: dark matter. With this incredible new energy source, the ship's power was almost limitless. It could travel at speeds far beyond the capabilities of any other ship, and it was equipped with weapons that could disable entire fleets. But the most important feature of the Sovereign wasn't its weapons or its speed. It was the sheer audacity of its purpose. Humanity was going to show the galaxy that they were no longer just a young, insignificant species. They were going to make their mark, and they would do so in the most unexpected way possible. Earth would not wait for permission to join the galactic community. Instead, it would force its way in. The ship's first captain, Admiral Thomas Hale, was a brilliant strategist and a patriot to the core. He knew that Earth's survival depended on them showing strength. Hale, along with his crew, had been trained for this moment their entire lives. They were not just embarking on a mission of exploration, they were launching a campaign to change the course of history. The day of the launch was tense. On Earth's surface, people watched as the great ship ascended from its hidden base on a remote island in the Pacific Ocean. For the first time, humanity would leave its home planet and venture into the unknown. The launch was broadcast worldwide, and the people of Earth, many of whom had never known true peace or security, gathered in front of screens to witness this monumental event. As the ship took off, a sense of unity spread across the planet. The Starship was not just the achievement of a few scientists and soldiers, it was the symbol of Earth's potential. It represented all that humanity had fought for: survival, strength, and the desire to be recognized on the galactic stage. The launch of the Sovereign marked the beginning of a new era. The ship was destined to travel far beyond Earth's solar system, to the very edges of known space. But it wasn't just a voyage of exploration. It was the start of a new chapter in the story of humanity, one that would be written in the stars. As the Sovereign soared into the cosmos, the galaxy remained oblivious. The Intergalactic Council, still focused on its own concerns, had no idea that Earth's great leap forward had already begun. No one could have imagined that a species thought to be too young and too weak to matter would soon be a force to be reckoned with. And yet, there was something the Council didn't know, something they couldn't have predicted. The real surprise wasn't that Earth had developed a starship. The real surprise was the speed with which humanity would use it. Admiral Hale and his crew weren't just heading into space. They were heading into battle. The galaxy would soon learn that Earth, once dismissed as a fledgling world, was ready to make its mark on the stars. This part introduces Earth's secret weapon, the Starship, the Sovereign, and sets up the unexpected emergence of Earth as a formidable force in the galaxy. It's written in an engaging, easy-to-understand style, following humanity's rise, from the shadows to confront the universe on its own terms. Omniact. The Starship, the Sovereign, soared deeper into the unknown, its engines glowing with the power of dark matter. Admiral Thomas Hale stood at the command center, his eyes fixed on the view screen. Ahead of them was a vast expanse of space, filled with distant stars and mysterious nebulae. It was an awe-inspiring sight, but there was no time for wonder. Earth had a mission, and it was only just beginning. The Sovereign was the first of its kind, and Hale was the first human to command a ship capable of interstellar travel. The mission was clear: show the galaxy that Earth was no longer a weak, helpless species. They would prove to the galactic powers that humanity was capable of standing tall among them. In the days following their departure from Earth, the crew made adjustments and performed tests on the ship's advanced systems. The Starship was everything they had hoped for and more. Its weapon systems were powerful enough to disable entire fleets, and its energy reserves seemed nearly endless. But the most important feature was its speed. With the ability to travel faster than anything the galaxy had seen, the Sovereign could reach distant worlds before anyone could react. However, what the crew didn't expect was how quickly they would encounter other civilizations. They had hoped for a gradual introduction to the wider galaxy, a slow, cautious approach. Instead, their first contact with an alien species came sooner than anyone had anticipated. It started with a signal, a faint transmission that appeared on the ship's communication systems. At first, it was unclear if it was meant for them, or if it was just background noise from the vastness of space. But as they tuned the system to a higher frequency, the signal became clearer. It was a message from an unknown species. "Identify yourselves," the voice crackled across the ship's comms. It was in a language no one aboard had ever heard, but the translation systems on the Sovereign quickly adapted, converting the message into human-readable text. The crew stared at the screen in silence as the message continued. "We are the Qatar. Who are you? And what is your purpose in this sector?" The Qatar were a species the Council had documented but had never considered a serious threat. They were an advanced race from a distant star system, but their military strength was nothing compared to the larger galactic powers. To Earth's surprise, their encounter would not be the cautious meeting they expected. It would be the beginning of a tense and dangerous interaction. Admiral Hale's heart raced. This was their first real test. This was the moment to show the galaxy that Earth was not to be underestimated. "Tell them we are Earth," Hale ordered, his voice calm but firm. "And we are here to make our presence known." The communication officer transmitted their response. A few moments later, the Qatar sent a reply, their message cold and direct. "You are not welcome here. This space belongs to the Qatar. Leave immediately or we will take action. Hale knew what he had to do. The Qatar were an unknown threat, but they would not intimidate him. Earth had fought for centuries to survive, and they would not back down now. The time for talking was over. The time for action had come. Prepare for weapons testing, Hale said, his voice steady. We're not here to start a war, but we will defend ourselves. The crew moved quickly, activating the ship's powerful energy cannons. They weren't yet fully tested in combat, but Hale trusted that the ship would perform as expected. The Sovereign had been designed with one purpose in mind: to ensure humanity's survival in the face of any threat. The Qatar ships appeared on the viewscreen moments later, massive and imposing. They were sleek, angular vessels, their designs optimized for speed and maneuverability. But in terms of sheer power, they were no match for the Sovereign. The human ship stood its ground, its size dwarfing the Qatar fleet. The Qatar ships fired first, their laser blasts lighting up the dark void of space. The shots came fast and hard, but the Sovereign's advanced shields absorbed the attack with ease. Hale didn't flinch. He had expected this, and he knew what to do next. Return fire, Hale ordered. A beam of concentrated energy shot out from the Sovereign, striking one of the Qatar ships dead on. The alien vessel disintegrated in a flash of light, its pieces scattering in all directions. The crew watched in stunned silence, knowing that the galaxy would never look at Earth the same way again. But the Qatar were not done. The remaining ships charged forward, their weapons firing rapidly. The battle was only just beginning, and the Sovereign was about to show the galaxy the true power of Earth. Hale's hands were steady as he watched the action unfold. He had trained for this moment his entire life, and now the time had come to prove that Earth was not a species to be taken lightly. The battle raged on for hours, with both sides exchanging fire, but Earth's starship was clearly superior. One by one, the Qatar ships were destroyed or forced to retreat. Finally, the last of the Qatar ships broke off and fled into deep space. The Sovereign had emerged victorious. The crew stood in stunned silence as the adrenaline of battle faded. No one had expected such a quick and decisive victory. This wasn't just a message to the Qatar. It was a message to the entire galaxy. Earth had arrived, and it would not be ignored. Admiral Hale stood at the center of the command deck, his face grim but proud. This was just the beginning. The galaxy had now seen what humanity was capable of. Earth had made its mark, and there was no turning back. Prepare for the next phase, Hale said quietly. We are no longer the forgotten species. We are Earth, and we will be heard. This part introduces Earth's first encounter with an alien species, the Qatar, and sets the stage for the galaxy to realize the true power of humanity. It's designed to be engaging and full of tension, with Earth using its strength to defend itself and prove its place in the galaxy. The battle with the Qatar was over, but its impact rippled across the galaxy. For centuries, the Intergalactic Council had governed the stars, ensuring peace and stability among the many species. But now, Earth had thrown a wrench into the carefully crafted order of the galaxy. The sudden appearance of a human starship capable of such power left the Council in a state of uncertainty and fear. The Council had long dismissed Earth as a young and insignificant species, one that would require centuries to reach the technological heights of the galaxy's more advanced races. But that view had just been shattered. The Qatar, a species known for their strength, had been defeated with ease. Earth had proven itself capable of far more than the galaxy had ever expected. Back on the Sovereign, Admiral Thomas Hale stood, in front of a large view screen, his face drawn with concern. His victory over the Qatar was a success, but it had also drawn the attention of far more dangerous powers. He knew this was just the beginning. Earth had to be ready for the full force of the galaxy's response. The first message arrived 3 days later. It was from the Galactic High Command, the governing body of the galaxy's most powerful civilizations. The message was short and direct. We demand an explanation for your actions. Do not test our patience further. The message was signed by the High Council of the Galactic Federation, the most powerful collective of alien species. These were the races that had dominated the galaxy for millennia, and their response was one of anger and fear. Earth had defied the established order, and they would not tolerate such behavior. Admiral Hale was not surprised. He knew that his victory over the Qatar would send shockwaves through the galaxy. The Federation was used to being the dominant force in space, and they would not allow a young, untested species like humanity to challenge their power. But Hale was not afraid. Earth had the Starship, and with it, they had strength. "We have no intention of backing down," Hale said firmly to his crew. "Earth will not be intimidated by these threats. We will make them understand that we're not here to be pushed around." The crew nodded, all of them aware that the next steps would determine the future of humanity. The galaxy had seen what Earth was capable of, and now it was time for them to show the true power of their starship. Admiral Hale ordered the Sovereign to chart a course toward the heart of the Galactic Federation. The Federation's headquarters was located on a massive space station orbiting a star in the center of the galaxy. It was heavily guarded by fleets of warships, but Hale was confident that the Sovereign could handle whatever the Federation threw at it. As they approached the Federation's territory, the response from the galaxy's powers was swift. Dozens of Federation ships appeared on the view screen, their weapons locked and ready. The crew braced themselves for a potential confrontation, but Hale held his ground. Earth had proven its strength, and it would not back down. The Federation fleet hailed the Sovereign, their message a mix of arrogance and caution. "This is the Federation fleet," the voice from the Federation's flagship said. "You are in violation of galactic law. Prepare to surrender your ship or face the consequences." Admiral Hale stood tall, his voice unwavering as he responded. "We are Earth. We do not surrender." With a swift motion, Hale ordered his ship to move into a defensive position, ready to face the incoming fleet. He knew that the Federation would not let Earth's challenge go unanswered, but he also knew that Earth had something they hadn't anticipated: unity. For the first time in human history, all of Earth's governments and people were united in a single cause. The battle began without warning. The Federation's ships fired first, their energy blasts striking the Sovereign with incredible force. But Earth's starship was built to withstand such attacks. Its shields flared brightly, absorbing the blasts with ease. The crew felt the hum of the ship as its defensive systems activated, and the ship responded by firing back with precision. The energy cannons of the Sovereign fired one by one, their blasts powerful enough to disintegrate entire ships. The Federation ships, despite their size and numbers, began to falter. One by one, their vessels were disabled or destroyed. The battle raged for hours, but Earth's starship proved to be far superior in both technology and firepower. Hale watched the screen intently, his mind racing. He had known that Earth was ready to fight for its place in the galaxy, but the Federation's response had been fierce. It was clear that they would not give up their position of power easily. Still, Earth had already proven its strength, and now it had to make sure the galaxy understood that humanity was not to be underestimated. The Federation's ships were retreating, slowly but surely. The battle had been intense, but the Federation's forces were no match for the sheer firepower of the Sovereign. As the last of the enemy ships turned and fled, a sense of calm settled over the crew. They had won. Earth had sent its message. The message was clear. Earth was no longer a weak, primitive species. Humanity was ready to claim its place among the stars, and no one would stand in its way. As the Federation fleet disappeared into the distance, Admiral Hale stood in silence for a moment, taking in the enormity of what had just happened. This was only the beginning. The galaxy had seen Earth's power, but many more challenges lay ahead. Other species would take note of what had happened today, and they would not forget that Earth had defeated the most powerful force in the galaxy. Hale turned to his crew, a quiet smile on his face. "We've made our mark," he said. "But we've only just begun." And so, with the Sovereign leading the charge, humanity's journey into the stars was just beginning. The galaxy had been put on notice, and Earth would not rest until it had secured its place at the center of the universe. This part shows Earth's bold confrontation with the Galactic Federation, proving humanity's strength and uniting the species behind a common cause. Admiral Hale's leadership is highlighted, as well as the technological superiority of the Sovereign. The section concludes with a sense of determination that Earth's journey has only just begun. The battle with the Federation fleet had ended, and Earth had won again. News of the human victory spread fast across the galaxy. Every species, from the oldest empires to the smallest trading colonies, had heard the same shocking truth. Earth was not a young, helpless world anymore. It had strength, speed, and the will to fight back. Admiral Thomas Hale sat quietly in his command chair aboard the Sovereign, staring at a star chart on the screen. Around him, the crew worked quickly, updating navigation logs and checking system reports. Their victory over the Federation had been a success, but Hale knew this was only the beginning. The galaxy was waking up, and not everyone would respond with fear. Some would prepare for war. "We can't fight everyone," Hale said to his officers during a quiet meeting. "We need to be smart. We don't want to destroy. We want to protect Earth. Our next step is not more battles. It's strategy." And so, Earth changed its approach. Instead of going straight for the biggest powers, Hale and his team decided to target weak points, systems that were isolated, ignored, or controlled by cruel rulers. These systems were often abused by stronger empires. They had no protection and no voice in the Galactic Council. Earth would go to them first, not as invaders, but as liberators. The plan worked. The first system they visited was the Juno Belt, a group of small mining colonies trapped under the control of a greedy trade guild. The miners there worked long hours, received little pay, and had no rights. When the Sovereign appeared in the sky, many thought it was another ship coming to take more from them. But this time, something different happened. Admiral Hale sent a message to the surface. "We are from Earth. We are not here to take. We are here to offer something new: freedom, protection, and unity." The miners didn't believe it at first. They had been lied to too many times before. But then Earth's soldiers came, not to conquer, but to remove the trade guild's enforcers. They destroyed the corrupt outposts and shut down the oppressive control systems. The people of the Juno Belt saw it with their own eyes. Earth kept its word. Within days, the people raised Earth's flag alongside their own, promising alliance and support. They offered fuel, resources, and knowledge in return for protection. It was the first of many victories without a single battle. More systems followed. Each time, Hale sent the same message. Earth wanted peace, not conquest. But if any power tried to harm the innocent, Earth would defend them. This bold and fair approach shocked the galaxy. Many of the major empires, used to fear and control, were confused by Earth's methods. Why offer help without taking full control? The answer was simple. Earth had learned the hard way how it felt to be ignored and pushed down. Now they refused to act the same way. Meanwhile, back on Earth, the planet was changing. For the first time in history, humans across every country and culture felt united. News of the Sovereign's actions brought hope. People who had once feared, the galaxy now watched their screens with pride. Children played with toy starships. Scientists worked day and night to improve technology. Even former enemies on Earth began to cooperate. "We're not just defending our planet anymore," one of the scientists said. "We're building something bigger than Earth itself, a legacy." Hale watched as the Sovereign grew stronger with every new alliance. The ship received upgrades: faster engines from a freed alien race, better shields from a grateful inventor, even a cloaking system gifted by a quiet moon colony. With every peaceful mission, Earth's reputation grew. They were not seen as conquerors, but as defenders of the weak. But not everyone was pleased. In the dark halls of a distant empire, a cold and calculating leader named Lord Rethor sat in silence. His empire, the Zorak Dominion, was known for its strict rule and brutal punishments. When he heard that Earth had freed 6 systems from under his control, he was furious. "How can a young planet do this?" Rethor growled to his council. "They should be afraid of us." But Earth wasn't afraid, and that made him nervous. He ordered his spies to learn everything about the Sovereign, its crew, its weapons, its history. He wanted to know how Earth had grown so fast. What he discovered only made him more concerned. Earth had no central empire, no ancient history of conquest, and yet they had built one of the most powerful ships in the galaxy. They are dangerous, Rethor whispered. Not because they are strong, but because they are different. And so, the Zorak Dominion began to prepare in secret. They built warships, trained soldiers, and planned an ambush. Earth's kindness would not stop Rethor. He believed only in control, and he was not alone. A quiet alliance began to form between several older powers, each one scared of losing control. They called it the Silent Pact, a hidden agreement, to stop Earth before it became unstoppable. Back on the Sovereign, Admiral Hale could feel the shift in the stars. The peace they had built was real, but fragile. Earth's path would not be easy. Strong forces were gathering in the shadows, but Hale wasn't afraid. He stood before his crew, speaking to them as they prepared for their next journey. "The galaxy is watching us," he said. "Some fear us, some follow us, but we will stay, true to who we are. We are not conquerors, we are protectors, and if they try to break what we're building, then we'll show them the full strength of Earth." The crew nodded, their faces serious, their spirits strong. They knew the war hadn't started yet, but it was coming. The news of Earth's rapid rise and its peaceful yet powerful approach had spread like wildfire across the galaxy. Systems once ruled by fear now spoke of the human starship with respect. In the farthest corners of the galaxy, species who had been oppressed by cruel rulers began to hope for a better future. Earth's message of protection, not conquest, had caught the attention of many. But as Earth's alliances grew, so did the fear among the old, powerful empires. The Zorak Dominion, led by Lord Rethor, had been the first to organize in response to Earth's growing influence. They saw humanity as a threat not because of their military power, but because of their ability to unite the galaxy's oppressed. The Zorak Dominion believed in strict control, and they were not willing to let anyone, especially a young species, take away their power. Lord Rethor had already made his plans. He secretly gathered several other ancient empires who shared his fear of Earth. The Silent Pact, as they called it, was an alliance formed to stop Earth before it could grow even stronger. The pact was made up of the biggest, most powerful empires in the galaxy, and they had one goal: to crush Earth's influence before it spread too far. But Admiral Thomas Hale knew about the growing threat. The Sovereign had picked up signals of the Silent Pact's activity, and Hale was not naive. He knew that peace could only last so long. He had expected resistance, but the Silent Pact's quiet movements made him realize just how powerful Earth's position had become. The galaxy's most powerful empires were now reacting, and not all of them were ready to let Earth rise without a fight. Back aboard the Sovereign, Hale and his crew prepared for what could be a long and difficult journey. They had made many alliances, and Earth was beginning to reshape the galaxy in ways that had never been done before. But peace would not be easy to hold on to. They had made enemies, and some were too powerful to ignore. "Admiral, we have just received a communication from the Galactic Council," the communication officer announced, her voice tense. "They've confirmed that the Zorak Dominion is building a fleet to confront Earth. They're planning something big." Hale's jaw tightened. "What are they planning?" "They're gathering their ships at the edge of the quadrant," she replied. "They want to send a message. They're trying to show the galaxy they still control everything." Hale leaned forward in his chair, his eyes narrowing. The Silent Pact was preparing for a fight, but Earth was ready. They had shown their strength, and they had made enough allies to stand their ground. Still, Hale knew that the coming confrontation could be the turning point in the galaxy's history. "Prepare the Sovereign," Hale ordered, his voice steady. "We'll meet them at the edge of the quadrant, but we won't attack first. We'll give them the chance to negotiate. Earth is here for peace, not war." The crew moved quickly, preparing for the worst but hoping for the best. As the Sovereign flew toward the edge of the quadrant, the tension was palpable. The galaxy was about to witness a new era. Would Earth prove its strength once again, or would the Silent Pact crush their hopes for a peaceful future? As they approached the gathering of the Silent Pact's fleet, the Sovereign's sensors detected hundreds of ships, massive warships, each one a symbol of the power the galaxy's oldest empires once held. The sight was intimidating, but Hale remained calm. This was not the time for fear. Earth had fought for its right to exist, and it would not back down now. A voice came through the communication system, and the screen flashed to show Lord Rethor's cold, calculating face. His eyes glowed with arrogance. "You've gone too far, Earth," he said, his tone sharp. "You have no place in this galaxy. You've become a nuisance. This ends now." Hale took a deep breath, his voice firm as he replied, "We are not a nuisance. We are a force for change. If you want to fight, we will, but know this. Earth does not seek destruction. We seek peace, and we are willing to defend that peace with everything we have." Rethor's smile was thin and cruel. "You will regret this decision. The galaxy is not yours to change. Prepare to face the full power of the Dominion." The screen went dark as the communication ended, and Hale gave the order to prepare for battle. But he knew that Earth's goal wasn't to destroy the Dominion. They were here to send a message. The galaxy could either accept Earth's place in it or continue to resist and face the consequences. The battle began with a deafening roar as the Zorak ships fired their weapons at the Sovereign. But Earth's ship was not just powerful in offense. Its defenses were unmatched. The enemy's blasts bounced off the energy shields, and the Sovereign retaliated with pinpoint accuracy. One by one, the Zorak ships began to fall back, retreating, under the force of Earth's firepower. The fight was intense, but it was clear that the Zorak Dominion had underestimated humanity. The Sovereign moved with speed and precision, evading the larger enemy ships and striking with devastating force. The battle lasted for hours, but it was not just a battle of weapons, it was a battle of ideals. Earth was fighting for the right to be heard, to have a place in the galaxy where it could contribute without being forced into submission. As the last of the Zorak ships retreated, Lord Rethor's voice came through once again. But this time, it was different. There was no anger in his tone, only a grudging respect. "You've won this time, Earth," he said, his voice low. "But know this, the galaxy will never be the same. You've awakened something. You've changed the way things are done." Hale stood at the command center staring at the stars. He didn't respond immediately. The battle was over, but the war was far from won. The galaxy had seen Earth's strength, but it had also seen its resolve. Humanity had proven that it would not bow down to the old powers, but it would not take control by force. Instead, it would change the galaxy in its own way, through unity, respect, and the willingness to defend those who could not defend themselves. "We've made our mark," Hale said quietly, "but there's still more to do." And so, as the Sovereign sailed back into the unknown, Earth's place in the galaxy was cemented. The old powers had been forced to respect the new order. A new chapter was beginning, one where Earth would stand tall among the stars, not through conquest but through the strength of its ideals. This part marks Earth's victory over the Zorak Dominion, a powerful and historic moment that shows humanity's strength and resolve. Earth's approach of peace backed by strength continues to shape its place in the galaxy, and new alliances begin to form in the wake of the battle. It's a turning point for the galaxy, as the old powers realize that a new order is emerging. The galaxy had changed. The battle with the Zorak Dominion had marked a turning point, but it was not the end. The victory of Earth had set in motion a new era, one where humanity's place in the stars could no longer be ignored. The message was clear. Earth was here to stay, and it would not be silenced or pushed aside. It had proved its strength, its will, and its purpose. The Silent Pact, which had once seemed like an insurmountable threat, was now fractured. Some of its members had begun to reconsider their positions, realizing that Earth's rise was inevitable. Others, however, still saw Earth as a problem to be eliminated. The battle had not eradicated all the old fears, but it had shaken the foundations of galactic power. Admiral Thomas Hale stood in the command center of the Sovereign, staring out at the stars. The crew had done their duty. Earth had won its own place in the galaxy. But Hale knew the work was far from over. There was still so much to be done. The people of Earth had supported the Sovereign, but it was not just about winning battles anymore. It was about creating lasting change. Hale had seen the desire for unity across Earth's many nations, but now it was time to extend that unity to the wider galaxy. "Admiral, we've received a transmission," said the communication officer, interrupting his thoughts. "It's from a newly formed coalition. They want to meet." Hale raised an eyebrow. "Who is it?" "They call themselves the Galactic Peace Council," the officer explained. "They're made up of several systems that Earth has helped free. They want to establish a new order, one based on cooperation, not domination." Hale felt a small spark of hope. Earth had not only shown its strength, but had also inspired others. These systems, once ruled by fear and oppression, now wanted something better. The idea of a peaceful, cooperative galaxy was a dream that Earth had long believed in. But seeing it begin to take shape made Hale realize how far humanity had come. "Set up the meeting," Hale said, his voice firm but hopeful. "It's time we take the next step." Soon the Sovereign was en route to the outer rim of the galaxy, where the Galactic Peace Council had established its base. The space station they had built was impressive, a symbol of the change they were trying to create. It was a massive structure, glowing with the light of unity, its halls filled with representatives from many different species, all eager to forge a new path forward. When Hale arrived at the station, he was greeted by leaders from all over the galaxy. These were the leaders of the systems Earth had helped. They were once under the thumb of cruel empires, but now stood side by side with humanity. The respect they showed to Hale and his crew was a testament to the power of what Earth had done. They had not only fought for their freedom, but had given it to others too. The meeting began with a sense of quiet anticipation. Leaders from many species, some humanoid, others completely alien in form, sat around a large table. The room was filled with a sense of purpose, and for the first time in history, it was clear that peace was no longer an impossible dream. It was within reach. "Admiral Hale," said the leader of the Zoltan people, a species of tall, blue-skinned beings with elongated limbs, "Earth has shown us what strength truly means. Not the strength of weapons, but the strength of ideals. You have changed our perception of what is possible in this galaxy, and for that, we thank you." Hale nodded, feeling a deep sense of pride. "It wasn't just me," he said, standing, to address the council. "It was all of Earth. We fought for the right to stand together, not just as humans, but as part of something larger. We fought for freedom, for the right to live without fear. And now, together, we can build something better, a galaxy that works for all of us." The room erupted into applause, and Hale could see the hope in their eyes. It was not the fear that had once defined the galaxy. It was hope. Hope that things could be different, that peace could finally be possible. The meeting continued, with talks focusing on how to establish a new galactic order. It wasn't about dominating the galaxy. It was about creating a network of systems that could support each other, share knowledge, and ensure that no one would ever have to live in fear again. Earth's goal was not to become the new empire of the galaxy, but to help shape a future where cooperation was the foundation. One by one, the representatives spoke, each one pledging their support for the Galactic Peace Council. The idea was growing, and the galaxy was beginning to see that this was the future. The old empires, the ones that relied on fear and control, were slowly losing their influence. Earth had shown them a better way, and now the galaxy was ready to follow. However, not all voices were in agreement. The Dominion still held onto its power, and Lord Rethor had not yet accepted Earth's rise. The Silent Pact was fractured, but it still had strength, and many in the galaxy feared that Rethor would try to undermine the peace that was beginning to form. "I know there are those who will fight us," Hale said, addressing the council, "but we cannot let fear control us. We must stay united. We must stand together, not just for our own systems, but for all the systems in the galaxy. If we do this, we will not just survive, we will thrive." The representatives nodded in agreement. There was still work to be done. The Silent Pact might not have given up, but it was clear that the future belonged to those who sought peace and unity. As the meeting came to a close, Hale stood once more, his heart full of hope for the future. Earth had fought for this moment. It had fought for peace not by force but by the strength of its ideals. And now the galaxy was on the brink of something truly extraordinary. A new era, one where no one would be left behind. The road ahead was uncertain, and there would be challenges, but for the first time in history, the galaxy had hope, and that hope had a name: Earth. This final part of the story highlights Earth's new role in the galaxy, where the planet not only defends its own freedom, but also inspires others to form a peaceful, cooperative future. It shows Admiral Hale's leadership in guiding Earth toward creating lasting change, with hope replacing fear. It wraps up the narrative with a sense of progress and unity, where Earth has made a significant impact on the galaxy's future.